Well, here we go. We're back, episode 6. It's been a pretty good week. Got a bunch of racing in. We got some decent weather.
Really?
And, yeah. Well, I mean, it was.
Where?
It was.
I froze this weekend.
Yes, me too.
Well, I mean, it wasn't raining, and we were able to race, so it was decent weather. That's the way I consider decent weather.
I got a quick story real quick, too.
Go ahead.
So it was going to be chilly in Boone. Boone was really, Boone and Stewart for the Frostbusters. My plan was to go to all 5 Frostbusters. We lost the first 3. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to Boone. I'm grabbing my hoodie, my long sleeve thermal. I have, what else did I have? I had...
You had a vest and a hat.
A vest. I had like 5 shirts and a jacket. So I grabbed my jacket real quick in the closet, pull it out, throw it in the truck, take off for Boone, right? Get there, it starts getting cold. Back to him, putting all my layers. I literally had 5 shirts on, 2 long sleeves.
When you got there?
By the time
it was done.
When it started.
By the time it got done. Okay.
So I grabbed my coat, right? Go to put it on. And I'm like, God, this looks small. I grabbed my wife's IMCA coat, a ladies extra large, and I'm like, I'm in Boone. The weather's going to be, I think it was in the 40s when the sun went down. It was kind of cold. I had no jacket. That's why I didn't last very long. I was standing by your brother up in the crow's nest when we were filming IMCA TV, and I was like, I'm not going to last very long.
I don't know if you know this, but we were pretty toasty.
We were warm.
We were warm.
I bet you
the booth
were.
is warm.
Yeah, I had my little space heater going. You could have came on. Carson came out and spent time with us.
In that little lean-to thing you guys live in.
Yeah.
It's cozy. It's comfortable.
It's cozy. It's comfortable. I mean, it meets our personality.
It was a lot better than being outside in the wind.
Did you have that last year?
Yeah, I had it for Super Nationals last year.
Just Super Nationals?
Yes.
You didn't have it for the Frostbuster?
No.
But you didn't need it for last year's Frostbuster because I think it was like 80 last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice last year.
Nice.
It was beautiful. I haven't wore a pair of shorts yet this year.
I haven't either.
I have.
I don't even know if I fit in my shorts this year.
I told somebody.
Yeah,
it's been.
Speaking of shorts, where's Jim at? Jim?
Nah, Jim. Well, apparently, we're doing this early in the morning.
What the heck?
Holy cow!
Where you at, dummy?
I mean, come on.
I am at the IMC home office in Maui.
Jeez.
How come I've never been invited to this home office?
Some sanctioning bodies have lake houses. We've got a beachfront house. So
what's the weather like there?
That's the way we roll at IMCA.
What's the weather like there, Captain Jim? Hey, it's Captain Jim.
Captain Jim. Maui Jim.
Or would it be private parts?
He's a pirate.
Captain Jim or private parts?
Maui Jim today. I'm Maui Jim.
Maui Jim.
It's beautiful here, guys. I don't know what you're talking about, cold. It's about 83 degrees right now and a nice little breeze coming in off the ocean, and I'm living large right now.
Hey, how are your coconuts hanging on that tree back there?
It's good to be you.
Well, if I stood up, I got my Speedo on, you'd find out, Jerry.
No, please sit there, caller.
Someone drank his breakfast this morning.
Wow. Yeah, I think somebody had methanol moonshine and donuts, just like we're going to have here. Speaking of that, hang on a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know Jim hasn't been to the gym today.
It's our breakfast mountain of donuts.
Thank you, Nate.
Good stuff.
And we know the podcast is over when Jerry's out of donuts.
Yes, we do. We're going to time it this time.
All right.
When the donuts are done, we're done.
It's like announcing races, talking with your mouth full.
Well, that'll happen at these bigger events.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, so Frostbusters. We had Boone and Stewart. 190 cars at Boone. Big turnout.
It's good.
A little more than last year, which...
Yeah, we were what did we talk? We like 184 or something the year before. Or...
So it's not so much doom and gloom. Not everything is in half or 25% of what it was last year.
A lot of people think that with the first ones getting canceled, the Travelers might be down. But of those 190, there were a lot of guys from out of state there.
I think we had Wisconsin, Minnesota, Missouri, Illinois,
Arkansas,
Arizona.
Yeah, there were.
I think we had like 9 different states.
It was a really good turnout.
Yeah, very good turnout.
Very pleased, very pleased. Racing was excellent. If you didn't get to see it, you can go back $24.99, get the replay pass.
You can. It also was broadcast live on IMC TV. We did some IMC TV bonuses. I wanted to bring that up too a little bit, talk about that.
Yeah.
I talked about it at the drivers' meeting. We at the beginning of the night, everybody always, Boone is not known for paying a ton of money, but the Frostbuster pays okay. It's not the highest paying race in the world, but it's just the way that they've been structured. But we went ahead and threw some IMCA TV money at it.
Yes, we did.
We wanted to spread it out a little bit, so we did $100 to the top 4 in each division, and then we did $100 hard charger. So we tried to spread it out.
That's a couple
Best
grand.
case, a couple
Two
grand.
to be. Yep.
$2,000.
And best case scenario, you get 20 different racers that get that instead of one person getting, it's not as sexy. I mean, we talk about this a lot in the office. Jim and I talk about this a lot. You have 5,000 to win sport mod races. We have some 5,000 to win stock car races. Just last weekend,
Right.
we had 5,000 to win sport mod and a 5,000 to win stock car race.
Yep.
I think it was 5,000 at off-road, wasn't it? Norfolk.
I think so.
In that
I think it
range.
was, yeah.
Shows you how much I pay attention to all the purses. But anyhow, so we spread some money back through IMCA TV. And I think we got 18 different drivers because I think we had a couple duplicates.
I think
Our hard
maybe-
charger and our stock cars was Damon Murdy.
Right. And I think
And he also
Knutson
finished
maybe in the hobby stock, or he'd double up.
I heard Murdy was finless for this event. Is there any truth to that?
Finless? Is that what you said?
I heard Murdy was finless for this
Finless.
event.
I believe he was finless.
Unlike the sharks at the beachfront property.
Exactly. Lots of fins in Maui. Lots of fins,
fins on
shark
sharks.
fins in Maui. So be careful in the water, Jim. All right? It's a
I've been
dangerous place.
swimming with the sharks.
You might get
Your Speedo
disqualified
pulled
out
up.
there with a fin. So, but no, we had a great race. I thought the races in Boone were good.
Oh,
The track was
amazing.
excellent too. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Stewart the next night, 136, I
Yep.
think,
Yep.
was the official count at Stewart. Stewart's a really unique place. I haven't been there a ton. I think Mike said I've been there. It's like he keeps track. I think Mike said I was there 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years, something like that. I've been
Could
there
be.
a couple times last year. I think I went over there once the year before. But Stewart's a really cool racetrack.
It's neat.
It is, and it's small. It's really small.
Everything seems miniature over there.
It does. You go out in the infield here in Vinton, where it's a quarter mile. We call this a quarter mile
Right.
racetrack. It feels huge compared to Stewart. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just me, or maybe it's the way it's laid out, but it just feels like Stewart could fit inside the infield at Vinton.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyhow, races at Stewart also, really good. I thought the features. I always think the features at Stewart, just the racing just gets better as the night goes along, especially the features.
Get a photo finish too.
Yeah, yeah,
Stock
7
perfect.
1,000ths.
Close. That's close.
yeah. Very
Just a
good races
reversal
over there.
of the night before
Yep.
in the finishing order with the Murdies.
Correct. Where I was standing, I don't think, because there's a row of signs down the infield at
Yep.
Stewart. It's really hard to see. It's just like literally right here. You got to.
You're like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Exactly. That's what I feel like when I walk up to the wall at Stewart. I'd be like looking over.
Like the little,
Anybody see me?
like the little kid. Hey, what's going on over there? Is there a donut? Is there? Yeah, there's donuts.
But good races at both Boone and Stewart over the weekend. We had some races, obviously, too, in Off-Road Speedway,
Yeah.
Norfolk.
Yep.
Had a big stock car race over there. Did you go to that, Jim? No, you went to
He was
Arkansas.
down south, wasn't
No, I went where it was cold. I opted for the cold weather and went to Plummerville on Friday night and great mod light races. A little bit of Hollywood actually at the mod light races. And we had a little Will Smith incident.
Will Smith incident? Is that what you said?
Is that what we're calling? Is that what we're calling altercations with that go fisticuffed? Is a Will Smith episode?
he? You got a ringside seat too, didn't you?
Episodes.
Oh, Will Smith. We should put that in our letters. You think we can put that in our letters, Ryan,
Will
if
Smith?
we write any of those this year?
I mean, if there's a bad dog, no biscuit, you could have a Will Smith.
Will Smith Award.
Instead of unsportsmanlike conduct, we're going to reference Will Smith. Can we get
do
away
that.
with that?
But it had to be for fighting, though. I mean, if it was like for just yelling at somebody, or
Or bitch
Putting-
slapping. I
or-
don't know if
yeah.
it'd be fighting, but
putting somebody's wife's words in your mouth or something like that. I mean,
what did he say, or what did he say, Jerry?
Well, I mean,
what was that?
keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. Not
I
only
think
once,
that they-
but twice.
Yeah, they edited a lot of that when you because if you watch the video of the actual slap, I thought that it looked weird, but come to find out they did. I think try to edit. I think they said the TV network tried to edit out that 3 or 4 seconds of the actual slap, so it looks weird. If you watch it, it looks like was that all choreographed? But I guess it was because of the way they edited it.
They have to edit it.
And the unedited version has never been released.
You can do a 5-second delay for language,
crazy,
but
that
you
makes
can't for.
Like,
something like
apparently
that.
you can't
Wait.
first.
Yeah.
Wait, we have a 5-second delay here?
Well, yeah, we do today because you're not here.
Oh boy, we need one with Jim. Anyhow, we had off-road speedway. We had 49 stock cars at off-road.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm jumping back to off-road.
That's okay.
Get off
We
Will
hadn't
Smith.
really left off road yet. Haven't gone back on road.
49 stock
Full field
cars.
of modifieds for the first time ever running modifieds there.
I
That's
can't
right.
believe that the first time they've ever had. I mean, I guess I don't think of it being that way. You know, they're being out in Nebraska. There's modifieds, but that was, like you said, the first time they'd been there.
Once again, I don't know. For those who haven't been to off road, it's just a beautiful facility. Once again, a little bull ring, kind of like we're talking about with Stewart, and it just puts on great racing every week. Jerry Popsicle does a great job out there, and it's kind of a really neat kind of throwback place to go to.
He said popsicle, didn't he?
He did say popsicle.
Yeah.
I just
Oh, shoot. And Tyler Iverson won. Did I say that? Have I said that already?
No, but you
said
said
Tyler Iverson won. There's a name that, I had Ryan pull some stats. Tyler Iverson is one of those guys that for many years, at least for a handful of years ago, was winning a ton of IMCA modified racing.
He won on 50 or so.
Yeah,
He won quite a
he was at the top of
Yeah.
our national standings for a couple of years. I always remember because he had like a Hulk on his car or something. It was like a green Hulk
Okay,
car
now
for a while. That's how
Yeah.
when you brought him up, I tried to place him and I couldn't think of it. But when you mentioned the car, now I absolutely remember him.
So anyway, Tyler's in a stock car. He won 49 cars against a pretty solid field. You got Iverson, Sobbing in second, Chance Hollis in third, Tyler Fry in fourth, Jordan Grabowski in fifth. I mean, just the top five alone. Look at the
All
accomplishments
accomplished, yeah.
of those
Exactly.
guys
Drivers.
outside of stock car racing, really, to be quite honest, and inside stock car racing. Then you got a guy like Jeff Ware. There's I don't know how many national champions or regional champions we had at off road, but it was quite a few. But that whole Nebraska area, generally speaking, for us has always had a lot of really good IMCA racers across all
Divisions. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, Ware was a hobby stock national champion. Is he in a stock car this year?
Yep.
Must be in a stock
Let's,
car.
let's
stock
hope
car.
so because
Yeah.
he's in the results. So I assume that's him.
I mean, there's only one Jeff Ware from Nebraska that I know.
Well,
Yes.
we'll see this coming up weekend at Eagle Raceway for the Icebreaker. They'll be running stock cars, hobbies, modified, sport mods, race savers.
Yep.
You name it, they're going to be running it at Rogers Place.
How's the weather over there? Is it going to be okay this weekend?
Well, not as nice as I am right now, but it will be okay.
When are you coming back from Maui? Are you going to go to? Are you going to be at? Are you going to be at Eagle?
Right now I do have some work to do. As you guys know, it's the 40th year of the Super Nationals, and I don't want the cat out of the bag, but maybe a special location for the 40th year race.
The beaches
So,
of Maui.
NASCAR started Daytona 500 on the beach. Maybe we can do the 40th Super Nationals on the beach.
Maui.
Just an idea.
Modified Maui Madness.
Ooh.
There you go.
Just made that
There
up.
you go. On the beach.
On the beach.
Back to the beach. Battle of the beach.
All
Jerry,
right.
anything?
Nope, I'm just thinking about a drink right now.
Jerry, you're kind of silent. I was worried.
So I've been. It's been a long day already.
Had to
Tired.
get up
Yeah, you
early.
drove all the way over here.
Yeah,
It's only 8:30,
Good God.
8:45 right now in the morning. So
Yeah.
about 5:15. I went. Oh, I think I better get up.
Moving on, Friesen Performance. We just added Friesen Performance, or just announced Friesen Performance as the title sponsor of our modified and sport mod divisions.
Yep.
I just found that out Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah, we
2022.
announced it Saturday.
Very cool deal. We appreciate Al and everybody at Friesen Performance stepping up, supporting our classes a little bit more, taking a little bit more active role, helping with some of our point funds. So
And
very, very helpful.
There were drivers that were concerned they didn't get their decals in with that, and I don't know if you want to go there yet or not. But
Yeah, it was on my list to talk about decal packets. Yes, Friesen is not distributing decals through our drivers packets. They wanted to just have the online downloadable logo on our website, which we've got available already, and those who want to put it on their car can download it and have the decal made or put in the wrap.
Yeah. I mean, so many of these cars all have the wraps nowadays. It just makes more sense. I think it's a very smart plan by the group over at Friesen. And once again, can't thank them enough. Chad Smith does a great job, and Al and Jason and Delmer, I think, who's on the road to recovery from what I hear. So that's very good news for Delmer.
Very much so. And again, we want to thank everyone at Friesen for all they're doing for IMCA racing, and particularly the modifieds and sport mods, northern sport mods this year. Also, interesting story we had in our newsletter too is on Dylan and Kaylee Richards. And Ryan's got the story in front of him, but Bill wrote this.
Jerry.
I'm Jerry.
Jerry.
That's Ryan.
I get you too confused. I'm sorry.
Wow.
We may
Do I
want
put my notice in now, or should I wait till the end
we
of the
may
day?
want to stick to doing these more a little bit later in
any
the morning or
consolation,
early afternoon after he's been drinking.
If it's any consolation, Ryan, I think you're a much better announcer than he is. If that helps.
No.
Ryan, if it's any consolation, I think you're a much better announcer than I am too.
Anyway, back
Kaylee
to
Richards
Ryan,
used to be
Ryan,
Kaylee
if it's any
Deaton.
consolation, I think you're a much better announcer too.
Hey, but you are better looking than Jim. So, but
But he's on a beach right now.
oh yeah,
He looks a lot better on a beach.
put some lotion on today.
But no, Kaylee and Dylan Richards was Kaylee Diekman,
Yep.
sport compact racer.
Yeah. You know how they met?
I heard a rumor.
So apparently, and I found the story out, but I like to tell goofy stories like this. So apparently one night at the races, he was racing the sport compact, and she said, "Hey, I got some money," and bought his car.
Claimed him.
Claimed
Correct.
him. Claimed the whole.
met in the claim area at Beatrice Speedway in 2016, I believe,
Yes.
is the story.
It's quite a first impression.
Been together happily ever since, apparently. Married, freshly married, what, a year or so?
Yeah,
roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then that.
Do you guys think
Yeah.
that's how David and Nikki Murray got together? Was in the claim area?
We can find out.
Yeah. It says they both grew up in racing families. Former Kaylee Diekman had already won a track championship at Thunder Hill and at Beatrice, where they met in the claim area.
I love what she said.
She said he was fast. Why wouldn't I claim him?
That's right.
He was a good driver, and he does the best every night. Now, apparently, they couldn't, they won together, but they couldn't celebrate because she took Monday off knowing she was going to win,
He had to work.
and he had to work. So they had a beer together and went home and put cars away, and they were done.
It's crazy. I've been involved in a lot of claim scenarios over the years, and
None of them ended up in a wedding, or
none of them ended
How do you
in
think that
in
worked?
marriage.
I mean, hey, I'm going to
They
claim your
usually
car.
end up more like divorce.
Yeah.
in
Hey, I'm
claim
going to
area
claim
than
your
not
car. Hey, you want to go out Friday
Marriage.
night?
how long did it take? I wonder for them to smooth things over before they decided, hey, let's go out. I just
I
the
don't know.
whole
It's a
thing
great
just
story.
baffles me.
It's a great story, and now Dylan's racing hobby stocks.
Yeah.
He's racing hobby stocks. I don't know how many years he's been around hobbies, but they've won on what, 3 separate
That was
occasions.
the third time they won together.
at the same racetrack on the same night, racing different divisions.
Hey,
The
Dylan's-
they're
most
onto
recent
something.
was Deschler at the Dirt Crown.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think he's been 3 years in a
Something
hobby
like
stock,
that.
3-4 years in a hobby stock.
yeah, very cool story though. I mean, again, Bill Martin does a fantastic job for us here, reaching out to racers and getting this type of information because. I mean, we can't make this stuff up.
I know.
It's fantastic. It's a great story. And the race in IMCA, which obviously we think is also a great story.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, but congratulate them both on the recent marriage, on how they met.
And they're both
most
fast. They're
recent
both
wins.
good.
Yep.
They can both drive a race car. I mean,
You hear
Very
people
cool stuff.
meeting and marrying people they meet through racing. I mean, you met your wife, I think, through racing, but
yeah, she don't want me to tell that story though.
we won't. Well, I'm just using that. In
That
general.
comes from episode.
Did you meet your ex-wife through racing?
Yes,
No.
I did.
you?
Actually,
And your
yeah.
current girlfriend.
I mean, when that's what you do. I mean, you meet
Right.
people in the it'd be no different than people that show horses or do whatever. They meet somebody and the attraction's there, and they become friends, and then become whatevers. And
the story's common up until she claimed him. That's
Yeah,
where you,
and
that's
yeah,
where you
it's
think
like,
it wouldn't,
what'd she
wouldn't go
do?
any
She
further.
what? She claimed you? Yep. She put claim on me. Threw some money down. Said he's mine.
What else we got? Connecting rods. I got on my notes connecting rods. You want to talk connecting rod or talk rules real quick? Let's talk about the Al Miller Memorial first. Let's do
Okay.
that. We had the Miller Memorial out in Merced.
Merced.
Garrett Jernigan,
I don't know how many sport mods signed in. I don't know that.
35.
Quite a few.
Yep,
A lot
35.
and again, sport mods on the West Coast. You go back a handful of years, we didn't have them. I think sport mods were
Right.
on the West Coast generally were probably they added them about the the last of most of our racetracks. It seems like we just slowly migrated across the United States and got out on the West Coast, and now there's an awful lot of California, Oregon, Arizona, Nevada sport mod racers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy, but had a 5,000 to win show at Merced, and Garrett Jernigan won it.
Career win for him. I saw on Facebook that people were trying to convince him to come to Boone for Super Nationals, and he said, I don't think I could compete with those guys. I might be an 18th place car, but I think 5,000 to win show, you're going to compete with anybody. I mean, you're racing against the best in your region. You can race with anybody.
Exactly. You look at again, for us, we start identifying these, the more sport mod races we have out there, we start identifying these racers more and more and more. And I do think that it doesn't matter. We get this asked a lot, at least I do when I travel. Where's the best racing? And to me, it's the best racing is everywhere. There's excellent racing all over the place. And I think if you take an event like this and throw a bunch of West Coast racers in for a bunch of money and see who comes to the top, that those racers, generally speaking, whether they're in California, you can put them in Arizona, you can put them in Nevada, you can put them outside the Western region or outside of the state, and they can be competitive at other events. If you're winning out there, you can win around here. Yep. Is the way I look at it, or vice versa. We have some of our racers go down to Arizona for the Winter Nationals, and some of that stuff to do really well down there.
Yeah, I think you hit on that. Somebody says I'm not competitive if I come to Boone. I mean, the only thing different from your race car to the guy you're racing with is the racetrack. I mean, the rules, and the drive. I mean, the ability, because the rules package is the same. Right. You can't run anything different in Iowa that you can run in Oregon or New York or Florida or Texas. So you come to, the racetrack. Some guy may have been coming to Super Nationals for 15 years, knows what the racetrack does. It's your first time. You got to figure it out. So, I mean, the racetrack is, I feel anymore, the big equalizer and everything because of the way, the standardization of the rules and the way everybody does everything.
Well, one of the things that obviously I think is huge. Now, that race was not an alternative rules race, was it, Brett?
No, it wasn't.
It was just a straight, okay.
just straight. And, no alternative rules in IMCA, Jim.
Sometimes I just get confused. I just get confused,
Wrong sanction. You're easily confused.
He is equally
especially when it's 83 and sunny in Maui and you're on the beach drinking.
Do you have to sun poisoning?
Coladas, you start getting confused.
And a polo and a Speedo.
Rules, and you got guys thinking they're so smart they can combine funny car rules with go-kart rules and make them the same. I'm sorry. I just get confused sometimes.
All righty, Jim.
Well, so rules. I'm gonna have a donut.
What? Hey, I'm gonna have another
coffee. We're down to 2 donuts.
One for Brett and one for Jim.
I'm addicted to this.
I don't know how you guys drink that stuff.
It's
nasty,
iced caramel macchiato from.
If I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to drink it straight, and it's going to be black, and it's going to be hot, and it's not going to be in a cup from McDonald's that says caution. Things in this cup are hot because I know it's hot.
I've never done crack before, but if I did, I think it would probably taste
donuts right now are like crack.
Like this McDonald's iced caramel macchiato, which I have to drink every morning. I think it'd put 10 pounds on a year drinking that stuff. Either that or it's the bean dip. This is my other go-to.
Oh, I saw that. I was thinking about.
Where the hell did that come from?
His office. I walked in there to talk to him.
This is the snack of.
I walked in there and I seen that. Oh, I remember just
even the hot bean dip is fantastic.
What about spicy jerky or cheese?
That's only in Wisconsin, Jim. That's it. Okay. The truck stops on Wisconsin on our way back. I hit the jerky and some cheese curds. But Fritos is the snack of champions. I'm telling you, my wife, when my wife was eating this one time, I'm like, that is disgusting. I cannot believe you eat cold, refried beans. And she's like,
that's essentially all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's kind of like.
I want to look at the serving. I want to see the nutrition fact.
There's no nutrition factor to that.
If you cross paths with me at a Casey's late in the evening after a race, it's more than likely I'm carrying that and a bag of Frito scoops. If
Hopefully
they have scoops.
You're close to home and nobody's in the car with you.
I'm usually by myself. My wife don't want to travel with me no more.
But these are made with real pinto beans
for the coffee.
But
it's unopened. Hey, do you have any
I'm
chips?
just confused. When
It's
did,
like cat
Don't
food.
open
did
that.
we-
Don't. You.
when did we start doing commercials here? Right now, I've seen Brett do a Fritos commercial,
We
a
got-
McDonald's commercial,
we got
and a
Casey's
Casey's
Donuts.
commercial. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one of these social media influencers now. He's going to be,
I'm also
with all
got.
the views,
Ah.
all the views we're getting on this podcast.
I'm also.
Hey,
like,
stay,
look at this.
hey, stay tuned. Jim's gonna have one of
Look
them
at
ED
this shirt.
commercials coming up real quick.
Look at this awesome shirt I got over the weekend.
Hey, that's
too.
from my twin brother from another mother.
So Paul Berger, he's at I talked to him in Boone a little bit. I talked to him in Stewart a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, will you wear one of my shirts?" I'm like, "Sure." Because he said, "Oh, I love your podcast." And you know what I love about?
Oh,
Paul
he called
Berger?
me yesterday about that too.
You know what I love about Paul Berger? Is his laugh.
His shorts.
Well, besides his socks and his shorts,
Yeah.
he wears shorts everywhere. It could be -20. I think Paul Berger's going to be wearing shorts.
I can't tell you the last time I seen him. In
He's
pants.
got a laugh that just makes you laugh. And he's like, "We wear this shirt," and I'm like, "Well, why not?" I said, generally, I don't wear race car shirts of guys racing because people think that, well, there's something.
There's my favorite. He's Brett's favorite. He likes his
sucking
the
out,
most.
you know, and even in
Hang on,
Stewart,
no, they don't say it.
my shoes were muddy from walking across the racetrack, and Paul's sitting up there in his golf cart, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just hop on, give me a ride." He's, "Where are we going?" I said, "I don't know. Wherever you're going, I'm gonna go." And he's like, "Oh man." So I rode around with him. You know, you got people going, you know, all kinds of funny signs to him, you know, and we're laughing, right? And he said, "Will you wear my shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Because he asked about the podcast. I'm like, "Sure, I'll wear it." So,
And I mean, he kind of sponsors
Okay.
like this big race.
but he said you have to promise me you're gonna turn around. And I was like, "Well, turn around. Why?" He goes, "Just go show the back." I said, "What's on the back?" He said, "Don't look. Just do it at the podcast and show Ryan."
Have you not seen the back of it yet?
You have not seen it.
No.
Show me?
He said, "Show Ryan the back."
Oh, I know what the back says, but
Oh, God.
What's it say?
it says, "Let's go, Brandon."
Why
It
me?
does. Who's Brandon?
I know.
Brandon Berger.
Wrong.
Brandon Nielsen.
Brandon Berger. Is that what B&B stands for?
No, I don't know what the other
Berger
B's
and Brandon?
for.
What is the other B?
I don't know. I've never asked him, and I never know. I'm like
Anyhow.
what Anna Lither.
It's my favorite color shirt. Black is
Black.
the color of my soul. I say that often. It says something here. I don't know what this hashtag is or whatever this is.
It's home of the.
Of the Annihilator chassis.
Yeah.
So anyhow, want to thank Paul for the free shirt. And obviously he sponsors our All-Star race for our stock car.
And I want to thank Paul for making it 1,000. You know, because we lost the King of the High Banks at Marshalltown. So I called
Where'd it
Paul.
go?
Yeah,
well,
where'd it go?
Well, the weather. We
Where'd it
didn't
go?
lose. Well, what happened is that
gonna be
we lost.
delayed.
Yeah, it's going to be delayed. We're going to postpone it. We'll let you know when that happens. But I called Paul up and I says, "Hey," I says, "you want to help out?" Yep. So I mean, thanks to Paul and gang up there. It's 1,000 to win stock cars Friday night at Marshalltown. 1,000 to win modifieds.
Man, Jerry, you lost a show like that. How does that happen?
Well, there's a lot of behind the see, and that's the deal. I had a lot of people stop me Saturday at Boone. You know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't realize. Like they haven't even turned the water on yet, the fairgrounds. So it's hard for me to water the racetrack. Hard for us to sell concessions. Hard for us. Well, it's not hard for us to eat donuts. There's only
We're down to one
left.
donut.
I know. I see
Jim,
that.
your donut's here.
Jim, your donuts here. You want to sneak
Good
over?
thing
And,
Jim's in Maui.
but yeah, so there's a lot of behind the scenes things that everybody thinks. Well, why didn't you? It was 50 degrees. Well, because it didn't have any water and stuff.
Yeah, I've talked to tracks who's canceled because they don't want to have to, turn their water on.
Yep.
Then right after the races, winterize again because it's going to be down below 32. And Jerry, that's where water freezes at 32 degrees.
I know. I'm not. I'm not that dumb.
Isn't that also where ice melts?
No, it's at 33. 33 is where I was.
33.
I never thought of it that way.
And that's our science segment of today's podcast.
What was that?
We're hitting all the
What was
bases
that? What was
today.
that scientist on TV? What was
Bill
his name?
Nye?
Bill Nye, the science guy, is not with
Hitting
us
all the
tonight.
bases. I read one time, I think it was Phil Holtz that said it. Or not Phil Holtz, he races. Lou Holtz.
Lou Holt, football coach, Notre Dame.
Yeah, football coach for Notre Dame. I think it was him that I read that he required his college players to read it was 20 minutes, 10 or 20 minutes every day current events. I always thought that was a really, really
That's
good
interesting.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my kids that. I tell my daughter that. You every day take 10 minutes and read something Not about where you live, not about Vinton for us, but someplace elsewhere. Read current events, especially about the world, because it's very fascinating. Especially now, it's a very fascinating time.
Now, with social media, I try to take at least 20 minutes a day to avoid social events, since it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It is.
It's right.
I try to stay off Facebook.
Yeah.
I just get in trouble when I go on there.
Is that what you did? There was
I type stuff, and then I was like, oh, can't say that.
Once I see Brett has
It takes
made
a lot longer
comment,
to delete it because you only have one delete button, and it takes a long time to delete it.
Once I see you comment,
well, you can just click
I
and
tend
cut.
to follow.
Cut.
You tend
to follow when he starts
what
talking.
he's saying. I
It's
try
a
to
lot harder
avoid
to
him
do
at
that.
all costs.
I'll get the
just
phone
watch from
call that
afar.
says, I'll get the phone call. It'll be Brett. And he'll just start. I had to respond to it, and right then and there, oh boy,
Jim, don't be mad at me.
Yeah, Jim, I did it
I
again.
just created some work for you.
We'll just start calling him Brittany. Whoops, I did it again.
Getting better at it. Hard not to care,
We talked about it last. It's
Hard to
being
read shit
passionate.
Hard to read shit that's not true.
Yeah.
Not true.
And,
Oh
you know,
yeah, I mean it is.
about,
I mean,
about whether it be about IMCA, obviously, or racetracks.
you know what? You know what I'm sick of, and Paul Berger and I had. Why does everybody feel that you got to talk? I mean, we all know the pink elephant in the room right now. It's, tires, the gas, this, that. Tell me something about yourself that I don't know. Don't tell me about this on Facebook because everybody else is telling me. Tell me something about
something
your
positive.
dog's name or what your dog did or your
We all
cat
fall into
or
the
your
trap,
fish. But
We all fall into that trap. I've fallen into that trap. Everybody's made the mistake of saying something that they probably shouldn't have said on social media.
yeah.
And then people think you're an asshole, or that you're that way all the time. But, generally speaking,
Yeah.
we people are good. You know what I mean? We should always fall under that pretense that people are good. People aren't going to think that about me at times or all the time.
Yeah.
But they may not know me as well. I do have a heart sometimes if I have to.
Yeah, you do.
But anyhow.
I'll stick up for you
so
on
do,
that one.
so do I.
Yeah, I don't think you do, Jim.
I'm going to draw a line somewhere.
Jim is a cyborg.
I see. I've got to side with Jim on this one because he does.
he
I mean,
does.
we bonded on
does.
it. Yeah.
He did.
I mean, that one time.
One time he had a heart.
I told him when he did that, I said, Jim, that is very kind of you. That is very kind of you to do that. I think it meant a lot to me that he did that.
It meant a lot to me too.
And I know it did.
Well,
Yeah.
So I'll stick up for him one time.
You've used this is your one time. You've
Okay,
used it.
so I can't use it no more.
No more.
How long have we been talking? About a half hour?
yeah, Jared,
Down
I
to one
kind of
donut.
retraced some of our steps when I was in Arkansas last week.
Had deja vu.
Did you go a little further? Did you go a little further back than our trip in Arkansas? Did you retrace that? Did you retrace those steps?
Plummerville, Little Rock, and Batesville.
You needed to go a little further north, but yeah.
Yeah, I know it. I thought about it. Kathy's Corner would have been open. That
I
was
know it.
world famous.
Exactly.
I also had our mod light guru with me, Jimmy May, for the duration of the trip.
Jimmy 1 and Jimmy 2.
Ooh, yeah, the Jim and Jim
Jimmys.
show. Jim squared.
Yeah, I guess that's one way of looking with it.
He paused like he didn't know what the hell to say.
I mean, there was like a 10-second delay because he was like,
He never pauses. He's like, boom. He always has something.
wow.
Got you, Jim. But anyhow, okay,
You
so
got me.
back to let's talk about connecting rods real quick. I don't know if we talked about that in the last podcast, but we went ahead yesterday. We just did this yesterday, and we amended the stock car rules. We didn't amend them. We didn't make anything illegal that you already had, but based on some of the issues that we're dealing in the engine industry, we've added a couple of part numbers for connecting rods in the stock car division, in the hobby stock division, and it'll actually affect both sport mod divisions as well. So again, it's really interesting times right now with supply issue, with pricing issues. I did read yesterday that they said inflation in the month of March was up 8.5% this March versus last March, and it very consistently is going up. So when people talk pricing, just do the math. If it costs $100, it's went up 8.5%, so it's got to be $108.50 just from last year at this time. So it's a very interesting time for all of us across all industries. I talked to Joe Hayes yesterday a little bit. He works in the, I guess it was probably in the bearing industry is the best way to describe it. And he was showing me his chart of products that they use at BPI where he works, and one of the products, it went up 41.6% from last year.
Wow.
So, which I think it was an electric engine or electric motor. I think they call them motors or electric, and engines are fuel. Yeah, technically. So, but again, across all industries, this stuff's going on, and we're experiencing it here. So,
I don't care if it's from buying groceries or race car parts. I mean, everything's gone up. It's just the way it is.
A pound of bacon was like $9 when I was in the grocery store a couple weeks ago. I don't know what it is now, but I'm like, okay, how can I go without eating bacon?
I don't know. I saw my mom last night. She said somebody bought a dozen eggs for like $4.95 or something. And I'm like, why would you do that when there's so many people alongside the road that $2 a dozen farm fresh eggs? I just go do them.
My daughter, Alyssa, who's 23, she lives with her boyfriend. She's going to have a baby. I'm going to be a grandpa on July 27th.
Didn't we talk about him being a grandpa?
Last time I was at her house, it would have been just a couple of weeks ago, right? I was at her house, and she had chickens in her backyard. I'm like, you can have chickens in your backyard? She lives in Waterloo or Cedar Falls. Like, you can have that in your backyard? She's like, oh, I think so. Nobody said we couldn't. Well, the chickens are gone. It lasted about a month, I think, before the neighbor called.
Complaint.
There's chicken.
Called the city, and the city showed
No,
up.
You
the
can have
neighbor
chickens
did.
in Vinton. You can have like 7, I think.
Yeah.
I think each.
I remember in Boone there.
Four?
Four.
Nate knows you can have 4 chickens. And
Nate, do you have
have
4
chickens?
chickens in your backyard? Oh.
My neighbors did.
He's got
They
5.
gotta
He
be
keeps
fenced
hiding
in.
one. Hey, you got to stay in the coop right now.
So you do what she had chickens there. She's like, oh, Dad, I get eggs. You want some eggs? I'm like, oh my God, no. But I should have.
And then after they're like a year or 2 old, you
No,
can
no
have chicken
You could have chicken.
and get them new chickens. Yeah, that's the one thing I like. I like going to the farm store right this time of year because they have the baby chicks and you get to see the little baby chicks.
The little
and
ducks.
Little ducks and
Under the
chicks
heat
and
lamps.
geese. And I mean, turkeys look cute when they're small, but they taste good when they're big.
Especially when the little ducks are filled with marshmallows. That's when they're the cutest.
Peeps.
Peeps.
Oh,
Didn't we talk about Peeps last episode? Oh, because it's Easter.
it's
Easter's this
Easter
Sunday.
Sunday.
It is Easter
Happy
Sunday.
Easter early to hope the Easter bunny comes.
Celebrate by eating Peeps.
Yep, no Ether bunny though.
You
So
know,
anyway,
I
back
think
to...
we've derailed.
Go ahead.
getting back what you were talking about, Brett, with the connecting rods. I think that once again that shows that IMCA is willing to kind of roll with the punches as we all get through this tough time. And we do listen to people, we do care about people, and we're willing to make changes that are going to help people and get to the racetrack and enjoy their hobby. And
We're trying.
I think that's something we're going to have to be aware of all year.
Yeah, and there's a fine line there. We any change that we made, it has to stick. We can't just change it for 6 months and change it back.
Yeah.
So fuel is
Can it
one
be
of
an
the things.
alternative rule change?
We could have an alternative set of rules where we just run on alternative rules in 2022, and then in 2023 we convert to
Compressed natural gas.
the rules that the alternative rules are copied off of, I guess.
Copied.
So anyway, yeah. So fuel is a big issue. Not just in race cars, but also getting not in race cars, getting to and from the races, and then obviously at the track. And some things we can change. Some things be very, very difficult for us to change. So we feel the pain that everybody's going through. We really do. We're experiencing it ourselves. I drove my truck over to Boone on Saturday. I drove it over there and back, and it was $100 going over there and back. And I'm like, all right, not driving that again. So I drove the van over there to Stewart the next day just because it financially made more sense for IMCA as a business. Nobody likes to waste money.
You drove to Boone, then you drove back, and then you drove
came
back to
back.
Stewart.
Yeah, I figured Boone would get over early enough that I could get back here, and then I figured in the morning I could handle 3 or 4 hours being at my house, and then and sleep in my own bed, and then drove back to Stewart. But my wife and my daughter were in Chicago for cheerleading for her last cheerleading competition this weekend, so there was nobody home anyway. So
And I was too lazy and got a room in Ames after Boone, and I didn't go to Stewart on Sunday.
yeah, so I just don't like sleeping. If I can get back home and sleep in my own bed, I prefer to do that. I've spent too many nights of my life in hotel rooms. But connecting rods, we did change the connecting rods. We're going to add the story. We put it in the rules online for those that watch this right away and want to reference it, but it doesn't give a part number. It just basically says Eagle and Scat. We've got the Eagle, I think it's the FS1 5700 and the FS1 67 or 6000. Sorry, one's a 5.7 rod, one's a 6.0 rod. That Eagle's allowed, that we're allowing that Eagle makes. Again, it meets, generally speaking, the I-beam, stock appearing rules that we've always fell off of. And Scat has one as well. I believe it's the ICR 5700 and 6000. There might be a P behind it. It's the Pro Series Scat rod. And depending on where you source that, if you go to like Speedway, for example, their part number is just a little different than some of the other stuff you see. So it's the Scat Pro Series. And the Eagle FS1 series.
I'm sure if you called and said this is what I need it for, they're going to
We're going to put the part numbers of those two products in our rules so the racers know for sure. But again, you can't buy connecting rods right now. We've had a handful of guys over the last couple of weeks. We've called a couple engine builders and they said we can't even get these components. So everybody's in a holding pattern. It's hard to race without an engine, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason you have to have that. I mean,
unless you're Fred Flintstone,
right? Or what'd you say?
Soapbox Derby.
Soapbox Derby. Yeah, there you go. Or what'd you say? Natural gas engine.
Yeah,
race on natural gas.
Still, I mean, you still have to have an engine.
Electric engines.
Oh yeah.
Goggles Paisano.
Pardon me.
Goggles Paisano. He was.
Remember Goggles?
He was
famous racer.
Yeah, Fred was out to beat him in the Bedrock Grand Prix.
That's it. I think Jerry announced that race, if I'm not mistaken.
I was there. I watched it.
So we're doing what we can. Connecting rods is the latest issue that we've addressed. So for those who are listening, you've heard it first here. But yeah, back to electric engines. Do you think that, do any of you think that at some point in time we're going to have electric engines in a race car?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you look
be the
at
first, I had seen I think I saw one in a midget that they had electric engine.
Yeah, I mean, they've had in
a midget.
In the motorcycle world, they've been racing electric bikes. I mean, they've got a 450 version dirt bike. A couple different manufacturers make them that are very competitive. I mean, on our indoor races, we've had electric bikes that have won. Do
you have an electric bike?
No, I do not have an electric bike.
I'm talking like road cycle, like
No, I do not have an e-bike. I have e-bike. I pedal.
They're very popular.
It's because you can do half the work and you can go twice as fast.
When I was at the bicycle store, I said, why in the world would anybody buy a bicycle that's electric? Doesn't it defeat the purpose of why you ride a bicycle in the first place? And he's like, well, yes, but he said, generally speaking, they see a lot of women buy them.
Yep.
Because if you ride as a couple, wife and husband, the husband generally rides a little faster. That's our case, me and my wife.
Oh, I'm constantly. Jackie, are you back there?
My wife rides a bike. I ride a bike, and I like to race. Every time I get on my bike, I'm like, let's go fast. And she's like, you go too fast. It's no fun riding bikes with you. And so they told me, that's generally speaking why the e-bike has become popular. So people can essentially ride at the same pace. And if you're going up a hill or something like that, they can use the electric assist and keep up. I thought that was, so maybe it's a little happier times.
Now I have ridden an e-bike and
easier on your marriage,
you hit the button, like the turbo button.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's you
pop a wheelie.
No, I mean you could. I think.
Ricky Carmichael.
I mean, I know guys.
Actually, Troy Folger. You ever seen Troy Folger ride a?
Oh God.
Have you ever seen Troy Folger?
No.
Ride a wheelie on a dirt bike?
No.
It is fascinating. I've never seen somebody ride a wheelie so good as Troy Folger. Anyhow, sorry, I'm getting off subject.
But no, I mean I think some of them e-bikes will do up to 25 mile an hour if you get going. Pedal assist it and everything. But
I don't think you're gonna lose any weight riding a bicycle if you're just using the throttle all the time.
No, that's called a motorcycle if you use the throttle.
So what's it have, like a little push button?
Yeah, no, there's on the left, the one I rode in with the track, it was right there, and you just flick the lever. It was like standard, competitive, and then there was like turbo, and it was like, it's like gone.
But so someday somebody's going to put
it. I mean, there's going to be. I mean, there's a technology and everything to make an engine that would do what we do now.
Well received.
every year I spend a couple weeks out in Colorado Springs, and it happens to be my daughter figure skating. It happens to be right around the Pikes Peak hill climb time. And one morning I got up like at 2:30. You got to be on the hill by 3 to watch practice. And I believe the fastest cars at Pike Peak the last 4 or 5 years have all been electric cars. Yeah. It's incredible because they sound a siren. I couldn't figure out why they do the siren. It's the only way you know that car's taken off is the siren. It's
like the warning.
Like I said, they're the fastest. Yeah.
Does the siren go the whole time with the car, or they just buzz it at the beginning and then?
I think just at the beginning. I was just at the part of the hill where they were staging and starting them. So
it's crazy.
It's crazy how fast they are. So I would say, yeah. Well,
do you think it'd be well received? Do you think the racing industry?
I mean, I don't know that it'd be well received, but if we get to that point in life, and we may never see it in our lives, to where that is the only option. And if it's the only option and you want to race, that's it.
It kind of addresses a lot of subjects. It addresses fuel costs. It addresses noise.
Yeah, but I mean,
a lot of our racetracks over the years, it seems to be the number one thing that gets racetracks in trouble is noise.
You need to put mufflers on the race cars.
You need to put the mufflers on the race cars. A lot of people are just resistant to change. The thought of change is not.
John Prentice, Ocean Speedway. Talk to him about noise.
Yeah, some racetracks have some.
I think it'll be if it happens. There's not if, it's when it happens, because we know it's eventually that is how things are progressing in our world. There's going to be things about it that people are going to be like, nah, this is like you said, sounding the siren that we're moving, the car's moving. There's going to be some aspects of the sport that go away, but if it produces the same power and the torque and everything, and the racing is competitive as it is now, to me, that's what matters the most. Yes, the sound and smells and stuff are great, but to watch 3 and 4 wide racing is what it's all about.
It is an interesting subject for sure.
I think that's what it's going to come down to. As long as the racing is exciting, as they can bang and do white castles and maybe a few Will Smith moments after the races, I think if it's exciting, it doesn't matter what they're racing. The people will enjoy it, and I think we'll be okay.
Got a couple of, at least one upcoming event I wanted to mention too as we roll into the final minutes of this. We try to keep it under an hour. We're getting close. Just wanted to announce too that on May 30th, Monday, May 30th, yes, out here in Vinton at the Benton County Speedway, we are going to have the 43rd anniversary race. Can you believe it's been 43 years since the modified?
Long time.
It's tough to
43rd. It's crazy. 43rd anniversary race. Corey and Rick Drips here in town have, ever since they took over Benton County Speedway, they've said, we'd like to have an anniversary race. We'd like to do it annually. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And they talked me into it this year. So we're going to put up 4,300 to win, 400 to start for modifieds on May 30th. And then it'll actually be the 17th anniversary for Sport Mods. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they've been.
I remember the naming competition of that division.
Yeah, I do. I remember that too. Now I forgot that was like it was like you could submit your name, and the best one won. Was there a prize for that?
I can't. I think we did do something. I can't remember. I'm sure we gave something away. I can't remember. Somebody will probably email me. And
I believe it was the. I remember the first time we ran Sport Mods at the Super Nationals, I believe. Brett, you remember that?
Well, you got to go there, Jim. So anyhow, the 43rd anniversry race for modifieds.
Who owned that winning car? Let me see if I can go to the computer and Google who owned the winning car.
Who won?
I know who won.
Some
who
pavement.
was the winning?
Some guy from out east.
Some guy from out east.
Pavement.
Some hired gun.
Some hired gun.
Some hired magazine guy.
Hot shoe that races pavement. Didn't have a prayer to win that race. He didn't have a prayer to win that race.
He won it. He won it.
I'm going to say that again. Carl Fredrickson, you might watch this, but you didn't have a prayer to win that race, Carl. And how you won it, I still don't know how the hell that happened. But it happened.
I think in a
In a car that
I think
I-
in the conversation
in a-
Carl and
in
I
a-
had once, he said it's better to be lucky than it is good sometimes,
in a car that
Jerry.
I borrowed him. Again, there's no those stories.
Is this the same car that you destroyed that's in a junk pile somewhere?
Yep, I killed that sucker. At
Okay,
Allison.
just wanted to make sure that was the same. There wasn't like a different car or
It's
something.
toast.
And once again, Carl Fredrickson won that race with a crate motor.
He did win it with a crate motor. Yeah. I still can't believe that happened the way again. We're getting off track here, but when we all see races all the time where it's like you couldn't script a better race. Right. You couldn't script. It's like the Richard story here. You couldn't script something. In my opinion, we couldn't make that up. And we see races like this pretty much every weekend somewhere. Where if we were writing actually storylines and trying to control our races and pick winners and pick losers and say, oh, this is the person we want to win this race, if we couldn't do better than some of the stuff that actually does happen, right. Which to me I think is one of the reasons why many race fans, racetrack dirt fans migrate to dirt racing because of that. It's very authentic. It's very unscripted. A lot of cool stuff happen. Controversy, drama, marriages, claims, guys winning races that should never win races. It's crazy. Speaking of, I think I was in Stewart on Saturday. I think I want to mention, or Sunday, sorry. I think I heard them say that Jace Witt. I think
it was his first win.
First win.
First win.
I couldn't believe it.
I did. When I read that online yesterday, I was like, I mean, he's not one because he's good. He's a good racer.
I'd have never guessed that.
Very familiar name. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Watching that race, I'd have never guessed that. Because he held off a couple of pretty good sport mod racers behind him.
Oh yeah.
And won it in I don't know. I mean, whenever you win a race, it's one of those moments you'll never forget. I never forget the first race I ever won. And
when was it? Where was it?
Why do we have to talk about my race?
Because you brought it up. You said you never forget it, and
I talked about you.
I wanted to see if that's true.
This is the third straight podcast where we talked about you destroying your car. Let's talk about something.
It's our weekly segment, Brett's Racing.
Yeah, exactly.
This week in Brett's Racing.
97, 98, 99. 97, I had a piece of crap race car that was home built. I couldn't get out of my own way. I was in the back, and I was lucky to not get lapped. My second year, I bought a used Harris car, put all my stuff on it that year on a used Harris car, and led 19, maybe it was 23, 24 of the. I led all but the last lap of the season championship at Vinton that year in 1998, and Arlo Becker passed me on the very last lap, last corner, to win that race, and I thought I was going to cry. I was so distraught. I couldn't believe that even happened. I'm like, what just happened to me? But anyhow, 1999, I won my first race. I bought a new car, bought a new Dirtworks car.
Was that out here? Was that Independence?
It was actually in Makokota. Yep. So anyhow,
segment closed. Now what?
But no, there's always
then he won the Super Nationals as a car owner.
Then I was. Man, why did we bring him in from Maui today? We should have just left him in Maui.
When I pulled in the parking lot and his car wasn't here, I was like, oh, what's going to happen today? And then whoosh, here he comes.
We've got the 17th anniversary, 1,700 to win and 170 to start. Again, May 30th for IMCA Modifieds and IMCA Northern Sport Mods here at local at the racetrack. We also, on the same weekend, Sunday and Monday, they've got the whole hog.
The whole hog 50 for stock cars.
For stock cars at Stewart. I believe both of those events are not going to be broadcast on IMCA TV as well. I know here in town.
From what I was hearing, I think both of them will be on IMCA TV.
We'll get the anniversary race on IMCA TV on Monday night, and then we'll probably do the same thing, I think, over at Stewart for that stock car race on again, Monday, May 30th. So
where are you going to be that night?
I'm not sure where. I've been asked to go one place, and I'm thinking I'm going I don't know. I'm going to be at one of those two races.
That week leading up to that race, IMCA TV will be at the All-Star Shootout Series down in Texas. Yep. Wednesday night starts at Southern Oklahoma. We'll end at Waco, heart of Texas, on that Sunday, with stops at Grayson, Boyd, and KSP along the way.
Racing's really, really going to start picking up here in the next
Oh,
month.
yeah.
Hopefully the weather straightens out because I really don't feel like we've had a really even a good day. If it's warm here, the wind's blowing 40 mile an hour. So
I just couldn't believe how quick it changed. We were working outside yesterday, and it was.
It was nice yesterday morning.
We went and ran a couple errands, and it was like, oh, it's still kind of chilly. And the next thing you know, I mean, it was boom, hot, humid, and I mean, it was windy all day. And looked off to the west, you could just see that storm just kind of started over there. I mean, Jim got to see some of it over in Omaha, and the council. You just watched that skyline, and it was like, it's
And
gonna
you know, the good news on that is, Brett, that that storm that came through, not a lot of hail, so I think my car, your car, withstood that one. So
Jim's cars attract hail.
Yeah. I mean, you had the windows up, though, didn't you? I mean, did you leave the windows down and clean the ends?
Windows were up.
Did you drive that car to Maui then?
Well, no,
Yes. Well,
he looked on the ring. He's got one of those ring things on his pad because he's never home, so he can see what the neighbors are doing. Snooping on the neighbors.
I actually flew an IMCA one over to Maui.
Here we go.
We do have a jet. I mean, once again, thank you, GM, for contributing to us buying a jet and a place in Maui.
Is it stamped?
Once again,
Is it? Is it stamped though? Is it stamped?
We appreciate GM for stepping up. I read it on Facebook, and
the
The plane does have a stamp on it.
IMCA 1.
Okay, because I didn't. That's.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't just have a regular plane.
Well, I know it's gotta be.
Come on.
It's gotta be branded, and I mean,
Absolutely.
all that stuff.
So
That's how you know it's yours. Hey, that's how you know it's yours. Hey, you know what? Hang on a minute.
we're about out of donuts.
No.
Ryan and Jerry are going to eat the last donut.
Oh, we could have ladied and tramped that deal.
No, we couldn't.
Because we know who the tramp is. and the
Absolutely
lady.
not.
That's good TV right there. Come on.
Oh boy, we have to end.
No.
Oh, well, if that
We've
gets
got
you guys-
races in 22 states this weekend, so
Exactly. Like Brett said, we're going to get kicked off. There's a lot of... Hey, pull the schedule up real quick, Nate. Let's see what's on IMCA TV this week.
A lot of racing. Lots and lots of racing.
Okay, so let's see what we got. The Icebreaker. Let's see.
Yeah,
We're going to
Eagle.
be at Boone for season
Eagle
opener.
will be a big race. Eagle's gonna
Phillips
be a good
County Raceway. You're seeing it right there. Off-road. I mean, just a ton of racing. Just not only to go visit at your local racetracks, but if you cannot get out or it's one of those deals you don't want to get out, support them. I mean, if
Absolutely.
maybe you can't make it to Boone, but you want to see the races, you can do it because that money all gets distributed back to the racetrack, which goes back to the drivers.
It does. And thank you for saying that because that's important. We're not going to use our IMCA TV money to run a late model race, a super late model race at a cup track. We are going to use our IMCA TV money to support IMCA racetracks, to support IMCA racers, and to support dirt track racing at the facilities that IMCA racing is actually competing at. It is what makes us. You know what I mean? The dirt track racing in general. I mean, IMCA in general. That's what we're about. The Boone Speedways, the Stewarts, the off roads. Places like that, and to have IMCA TV showcasing some of that stuff and highlighting IMCA racing, IMCA racers, helping their sponsors, getting them some publicity. To me, it's just all connected. So.
That's it. It is. So. Well, from all of us to all of you, we'll see you at the races this weekend. If not, it's IMCA TV. Maybe you missed some of that racing from last weekend and you want to go back and watch what we've talked about. $30, 30 months, 30 days, 1 month replay pass on IMCA TV. You can watch everything, not just last weekend, but you can watch Super Nationals. You can watch whatever's happened and been broadcast on the platform.
Go to a race, though.
stop talking.
Go to the race. We'll see you back. We'll see you back for episode 7, and maybe we'll have another guest besides Jim via Zoom. Thanks for watching.